This is James and Jared from the Fair Chase, and we wanted to tell you a little story about a buck we shot in Kentucky.
Holy cow. Dropper. Unbelievable.
That was sweet.
The trip started first week of October. We went down. October 1st was the opening day.
October 1st was our first hunt.
Drove down to Kentucky. Pretty quick trip for us. It was kind of nice. We met down at the Salt River Outfitters. James got to be the shooter. I got to be the camera guy. And basically we were down there. It was a very different experience for us.
Yeah, you know, it's our typical thing is hunt public land and you know, Midwest states.
Yeah.
You know, not really know where we're going. We don't know the deer in the area, nothing,
right.
Nothing like that.
That's what we like. But in this scenario, the hunting spots are for you. I mean, they know exactly where to go, which buck you're hunting. So it was a very different experience. So
and what was weird about it is we showed up with our saddles and they had all these pre-set up stuff, which we're just not used to. And we're like, we just feel more comfortable with our stuff.
With our gear, right.
And so we're like, we're gonna go out and like, you know, we're gonna kind of figure it out a little bit our own way as well.
First sit, first day, first evening, you know, we're getting out there and we pull up to this cow pasture. And he's like, all right, you're gonna go down this way, you're gonna hang a left at this field, and then the stand's gonna be up by this gate, and just hop up in the tree.
Just hop up in there.
We did what he told us. We walked out through this field, got out, and finally, we kind of see the stand. And I remember standing there right as we opened up the gate to get down in there. And I remember looking at you, I'm like, man, this is not a good spot. Like if they're straight in front of us, our thermals are gonna kind of drop back in. So,
yeah, because we're up here and there's a draw and they're coming
like a two-track draw
from the draw up in front of us, ideally. But it's like, man, our wind is good now, but it's gonna calm down. Our thermals are gonna drop down in there.
So we start looking around for a good 10, 15 minutes, called an audible. And there was a tree 10, 15 yards off the trail that to our back, it kind of dropped down into a bowl.
Yep.
And, you know, it was kind of just a perfect little setup.
Like our thermals are gonna get sucked behind us. We had a great backdrop, even though we're kind of on the edge of the woods. So it was kind of a perfect situation. It was two trees, like you were right up behind me, and it worked out nicely. So just a little tweak to plans, and sure enough, the wind switched and the thermals dropped, and we're sitting there like looking at each other like, great, I'm glad that we made that.
I'm dropping milkweed, I'm like,
the whole time, and we're like, man, I'm glad that happens. And suddenly, like, we see some just like legs through the woods. I'm like, Jared, there's another deer coming, right? And so all I could see were legs and real thick green lush brush.
You couldn't see anything. I could see something. So I'm leaning back in my saddle and I'm glassing. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's a buck, but I couldn't see how big he was. Yeah. Right. So
well, I see it though for a brief second, and you'll see the buck on one side. It's a 3-point, and so I saw the kind of the tips of the tines, and I thought it was a fork. I thought it was a little buck coming out. I'm like, which actually calmed me down a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's just it's a small buck. We'll just like hang out, and you know. And all of a sudden, I'm like, Jared, did you see it? Jared, did you see it?
Finally, it steps out into somewhat of a clearing, and
I couldn't see it.
I'm pretty sure I was like, oh. He goes, would you shoot it? And I'm like, yeah, I'd shoot it. If we were in the other spot, if we were in the stand we were told to go to, that buck would have busted us right away.
He probably wouldn't even seen him.
No.
So he comes out, coming, I'm waiting. I let him come to a window that I had where it was like a vine. I'm like, okay, this is sweet. Like he'll pop right out 12 yards and I'm gonna smoke him, and like, sure enough.
Boom! Boom, I drilled him.
Smoked him, dude. Just drilled him. He went maybe 40 yards
40.
And dropped.
Wait for it. He's down. He's down. Holy cow. That happened quick. He's tall. He's good, dude. I think I double lunged. Did you get him on video?
Oh, yeah.
I'm texting him, buck down, come back.
I still remember you just sitting down next to him, holding him up, and you're like, holy crap,
Yeah.
dude.
Just I mean, you don't shoot a 7-point that looks like that.
He didn't go far, did he? Hell yeah, dude.
Unbelievable. That was sweet.
I think it's like a lesson in like being mobile. Like it's a big thing that we try to be anytime we hunt anything. Like don't be fixed in a plan or not. And sometimes that can mean going miles off the beaten trail, and sometimes it can be mobile in that you switch trees a couple away just to play thermals. And so that, I mean, that was just a kind of a wake up for me, because like I always think mobile, we got to go way out of the way, and sometimes mobile setup is just like just little tweaks to the plan to make sure you're reacting
Having
to
a
what you
backup
see.
plan, yeah. Redundancy. So, like you're saying, mobility it's everything. I mean, plans can change in an instant. Winds can change. You know, weather can change. You get to that spot and you see, oh, there's nowhere I can get up to. You know, there's no good shot. You know, you got to have that backup plan and a way to do it. So mobility's huge.